Hi friends, it's Morag here and I'm so excited to be taking part in the Scrapfest for Hip Kit Club, and I am using the April 2024 kits, and I can't believe I'm actually class number 11. So I'm going to show you how to make this fun layout, which I've added this pop out or twist and pop areas for my photos. Kind of looks complicated, but actually it is really simple. You'll just need to take down some measurements, which I'll leave in the description box below. So you'll need 3 pieces of card for the mechanism. So the first piece is 17 by 7 centimetres, and we're going to divide that into 3 sections. So this is big enough to hold some small photos, and you can change the scale of this quite easily. So you'll just need to score this piece 5 centimetres from each side. So you'll end up with 3 panels, which are 5, 7 in the middle and then 5 at the other end. It's just important to note, if you are changing the design, that centre panel must be the same width as the height of this card. So my card is 17 by 7 centimetres, so that's 17 wide and 7 centimetres high. Therefore my middle panel also has to be 7 centimetres. Kind of makes more sense when you get the hang of this. So I'm going to score across the centre of that card. I'm just going to make the mechanism or the panels for my photos, and this is a 20 centimetre wide panel. Again, it's 7 centimetres high. I'm dividing this into 4 equal sections of 5 centimetres each. So remember, I'll give all the details in the description box below. And we're just going to concertina this card so it folds. So we have a valley fold followed by a mountain fold and then another valley fold, as you can see there. So the third panel is for the outer card, so like a normal greeting card. I'm making mine so I can fit my photos and have a square card so I can make it into a camera. And this piece is 21 centimetres wide and 10.5 centimetres high. And I'm scoring it in the middle, and so it ends up at 10.5 by 10.5 effectively. And then because I'm going to decorate mine and turn it into a kind of a Polaroid camera, I've just made a base just slightly bigger than that 10.5 centimetres. So having taken that first panel, the smallest panel, we have 3 sections, and I am just scoring diagonally across that centre panel. And you'll see more clearly when I fold this. So I'm just getting my bone folder and just scoring across the middle there. I like to fold it both ways. And this mechanism is hidden. So I've just used some coordinating cardstock from the April 2024 cardstock kit, and that's the perfect weight for this mechanism. You don't want some cardstock that's too thick. So now you can see that we've got that cross in the middle there, and then all we need to do then is to pinch the sides so we form kind of like a little pointy triangle thing. And that is the twist and pop mechanism. As I say, it kind of looks complicated, but if you can, I did a test first, found that it worked really easily, and then you're away because it's actually always the same. And you can set this, I've done mine so my photos will pop out vertically, but you can also have it set the other way around. So they go out horizontal. So I'm just marking the centre point of my card now, and I'll just need to glue my mechanism to that card base. So I'm just applying glue just to that triangle piece that you can see there. And I'm just going to set that at the centre point, so the centre point meets the centre of the card base. And it's important just to try and get this right to that point and set it parallel to the crease. Otherwise you'll have an offset card, I'm guessing. And then I'm just going to glue the other side, so both the top and the bottom will be glued to the outer card. So I'm using a nice strong glue, but it does take a few minutes to go off, this glue. But any PVA glue, or you can use double-sided tape if you prefer. So that is the mechanism. I'd say it kind of looks complicated, but once you put the next piece on, you'll find it all comes together really quickly. So having got my photos ready on the photo panel, I can just attach that to the mechanism now. So that mechanism is just slightly smaller than my panels, and I just need to align the centre point of this panel to the centre point of the mechanism, and then the top and bottom should align perfectly. So I'm eyeballing it. I could get out my ruler, to be fair. But as long as it's set more or less in the centre, you won't have any problems. So now I need to attach that mechanism to the photo card, and I just need to glue the top right only. So just that right hand panel you can see there. I'm just going to apply some glue, and again you can apply tape and just attach that end photo to the top only. So the bottom is free, and that's the bit that will move. And then we're going to do the opposite corner on the other side. So that's the bottom left hand side here. And just adhere that into place. So it might be a good idea to pause the video if you're scrapping along and you just want to align that flat. So just turn it over, just burnish that into place, and then let your glue go off. Or if you're impatient like me, you can just test it. I'm going to set my glue takes a little time to go off, so I'm just going to hold that into place for a few minutes. And there you have it, all ready for decoration. But this is a really good fun technique to learn, and just to keep notes handy, because you can use this, as I say, for cards, for adding more photos to a layout. You could pop in journaling, or a mixture of the two, and that would be a real fun surprise for you, the people that you love. They'll be amazed at what you've done. So just to take my card effectively to another level, I'm just decorating mine as kind of a camera, a Polaroid camera. And to do that, I'm just using simple shapes. So I've punched out some coloured paper or coloured cardstock, again from the cardstock kit, and then just used a 1-inch punch to punch out some black card for the lens. And then I used a hole punch to make that tiny weeny piece there. And I think that looks like a highlight then for your lens, which I think does really make a difference. And then this tiny piece here came out of the die cuts that came out this month. So there's a film strip die cuts with both a larger film strip and a very small film strip. And then I realised I had supposed to add in the rainbow bit in the middle, and I forgot. So I've cut out strips of cardstock again. More words and action. So I've just taken a selection of rainbow colours, which should be larger than my actual base. And then I can just set that down the middle of my camera. I just thought it was a fun way to decorate the card. It has nothing to do with the subject I was scrapping. And then I just want all my panels to be the same, so that last one, just trim it down to size. And I just thought it was a lovely way to, say, decorate this piece. And then I can just trim off the bottom. And put my lens back on. I did end up putting that lens onto some foam tape just so it's a little bit more dimensional. But I love how it's turned out. I think it's so cute. I'm a bit of a fiend for cameras and so on. I absolutely love them. I collect old cameras and I've got quite a few at home. Yeah, just something fascinating about cameras and typewriters and anything vintage. You've got me there. So the important thing to note here is my Instagram account, or my camera, is slightly larger than my base, but I need to align the left-hand edge so that when it opens, it doesn't interfere with that edge and the opening. But I made it slightly bigger because I'd rounded the corners of the camera. So I just made it slightly bigger than my card base so that you can see the card base underneath. So the rest of my layout is pretty easy. I've just torn that strip. I love a bit of torn edge. It's a really simple way to, to add some texture and decoration to a page really quickly. And I absolutely adore the papers this month. Look at that yellow one there, it's just lush. And then I couldn't resist a note paper as well, so Kimberly's really got me this month with all the goodies. Now, I did steal some die cuts I had left over from the March kit. It's absolutely, between March and April, we've really got it all covered. But there were a lot of camera and Viewmaster things in the March kit. So I'm just using some of those because the kits are so large, I never use them all in one go. So it's a good way, when you're doing extra layouts, just to pull up those embellishments. So I'm going to use a journal card here from the Pocket Life kit. But I don't need a full length because it's a long card, so I'm just going to tuck that in, and that's where I can write my journaling. So whilst I am embellishing away, I hope you are enjoying the National Scrapbook Day activities. As I say, I think I'm class number 11, which is amazing that you've had so many different classes today and over the weekend. There are more to come. And of course, you'd be a very speedy scrapper to keep up with all the classes. So it's nice that they're recorded and you can watch them at your leisure. You can pause and rewind to really participate in all the festivities. So I'm just going to tuck in more tickets and ephemera. I love this effect where you just layer and layer ephemera, stickers, whatever you've got. Perhaps they're relevant or not relevant to what you're doing. We were actually out for a meal before we went to see a Cirque du Soleil show. So I hadn't obviously got, I didn't think, relevant ephemera, so I've just picked out the pretty ephemera that I like, because at the end of the day it's my layout, so I'm not really concentrating on what the specifics are. And I love those little emojis that came out of this month's embellishment kit. How cute are they? They are so adorable. And then the kits are so large that I then forget, I forgot that we had those in there, so I do often forget and have to come back and add things. So I'm just adding some journaling to the inside of that card, and then I can stick all this into place on the top left there. So, I mean, that's where I was going to leave, you know, that was going to be my design, and then I was just going to add a title, die-cut title on the top. And I felt it was kind of a bit unbalanced and a bit empty. So I'm going to write a big title down the left-hand side here. And the show we were going to see was called Ovo, which apparently is Portuguese for egg. So it was a very unexpected show, all about an egg. So it just does make me laugh, and I do like a funny long title. So I do some more embellishing off camera, because you do. But I love how this has turned out. Look, it's just such a surprise, which was exactly like the show that we watched. I hope you've enjoyed this technique and that you'll have a go yourself. So even though you don't have to do the camera piece, but I hope that you'll have a go at the pop-out card, because I really think you'll love making one of those on your layouts and your cards in future. So don't forget to share with us your designs, and I can't wait to see what you do. Enjoy the rest of the festivities, and I'll catch you next time. Take care now. Bye.